Apparently now, by the way, Matt Stafford's going to pick up the hospital bills of the photog who fell off the stage. Is that right, Jason Stewart? That's what you're hearing?
Yeah, Dan just confirmed that, right, Dan? That I guess the Staffords are picking up the hospital bill.
Yeah, the Rams and the quarterback releasing a statement saying that they would be doing that, and all of her equipment that may have been damaged in that fall.
Did Matthew ever say anything about it? Because the video is not a good look. I wonder, did he explain it at all, or was there anything after the fact?
Let me, if you just give me 2 seconds, I've got the statement from both parties. This is what was given to TMZ. As we told Kelly, this is a joint statement between the two, quote, as we told Kelly, we will be covering all her medical or hospital bills and replacing her cameras. We wish her a speedy recovery.
The Matt Stafford thing reminds me of, do you guys remember that show, What Would You Do?
Yes. John Quinones, is it Quinones? Is that it?
Sure. So the idea of What Would You Do, right? It was a TV show that was it is John Quinones. Quinones? I need a pronunciation. Quinones. It's with the
I wasn't that far off. I was close.
I'm sure both are fine, yeah.
Well, Ramos, correct us. Go ahead, feel free, dude.
I'm not going to No, I don't need to correct you. I'm sure both.
Yes, correct us. How is it correctly pronounced?
I would say you said it correctly.
I did the Quinones?
Yeah.
Quinones?
It's like guacamole, stuff like that.
Right. I did you guys notice I didn't correct Whedon when Whedon? What did he say? He said, he used, man. I have to roll back and remember it. It was something in my mind. I was like, ooh, do I correct him? No, I don't. Just let him go with it.
Well, no one gets Eberflus on this show correctly. You call him Eberflus. Middlecoff called him Uberflus. So, hey. Equal opportunity.
I called him Eberflus?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah.
I knew it was Eberflus. My bad.
That's all right. It happens to everyone.
Okay,
Quinones.
So Quinones. John Quinones. So the premise of the show, Ramos, you know the show?
I do know the show.
Okay. Jay Stu, I'm sure you know it, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we all know what we're talking about. If you're listening to us, okay, it was a show, I'm going to say more than 10 years ago. And it was on for a couple years. It was really like a summer show. And it was like a baby stroller is like rolling down a street in San Francisco. And you're trying to see like who stops the baby stroller. There's not a real baby inside, but they're just trying to get what people's reaction is. Somebody gets held up at gunpoint. What do you do? Like, what would you? Because everyone says, well, I would kick his ass, right? Or what's the guy who's the viral sensation who shows you how to take a gun and turn it around on your the guy who cost you?
Yeah, I don't know who he is, but I know exactly who you're talking about. The self-defense guy.
Yes. Everybody thinks they'd be that guy. Everybody thinks they'd be that guy. I'm just going to tell you right now, I see a gun, I'm like, here's my wallet, here's my keys, take whatever you want. I'm just going to slowly back away. Whatever you need, bro, you just take it. We're good here. What else you need? What else can I get you? What else can I get you? So everyone says they would do the right thing, but guys, people freak out. I'm just, the Matt Stafford thing, it does look bad. A lady is taking a picture of him and his wife. No one's disputing he was hammered, right?
Correct.
Or just 1942 that he was pounding. That is a sipping tequila.
Jeez.
That is a sipping. It's a really expensive, and if you don't even have to like tequila to like it. It is a sip. You sip it slowly, and he's pounding it. So, guy is hammered. That's not the end-all excuse, because usually who you are when you're drunk is who you really are, right? Happy drunk, happy guy. Angry drunk, angry person underneath, right? But Matt Stafford's like, I'm out. Literally, I'm out, turned around. Whereas Kelly's like, are you okay? Are you okay? When you see that image, buyer, does it change your impression of Matt Stafford?
Absolutely. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Jay Stu?
I think you just said what I was going to say. I know Matthew kind of gets a reputation as kind of a fun-loving guy, good guy, positive guy, but I think you become what you are when you are drinking a lot. And I think what he is he's kind of this he's the high school quarterback at the party on Friday night, and he kind of was just being a D word. He just kind of saw something and turned his back. That's what it kind of looks like. When you drink a lot, you're not necessarily paying attention to stuff. So it just looks bad. It did. It looked terrible. It didn't look bad. It looked terrible. So it does or does not change your mind on, or what? Maybe I guess it was you always thought that he was that guy, and now this reaffirms he's that guy. It reaffirms the picture of him on the boat with the girls in the bikinis. Kind of just reaffirms that guy. Yeah. So I guess it wouldn't change my impression. Wait. So you mean to tell me that you're in college and you're on a boat with girls in bikini and you're not? I'm like, I would trade places with him in a second. Don't get me wrong. I'm not judging him, but I think a little bit. Each of those images kind of speak the same language to me. Okay, Ramos, he's your quarterback. He just won you a Super Bowl. And a lady falls down and literally broke her back. And he was like, I'm out. Now, he couldn't have known how hurt she was. But still, that did happen. What does that change your impression of Matt Stafford? It's not a great look, but I will have to say, I do have to say this. And you just talked about a show called, what was it? What Would You Do? What Would You Do? Yeah. The problem with the show was that at the end of that, it ends with what would you do? It doesn't say, what would you do if you're blitzed? Right? What would you do if you're hammered? Because people make different choices. I'm sure there's people that are really hammered at a party and their friend runs into a wall and they start laughing. Like, oh, man, you just hit a wall, dude. Yeah. It's like, wow. And blood's coming out of their ears. And like, oh, I got totally bleeding, man. But he said, but I understand. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't like, oh. No, but I mean, I think his impression was just like, huh? I'm out. I'm turned around like, whoa, like, okay. So I don't know if it changes my impression of him. It's not a great look. I agree with that. I don't know. You shouldn't do that. You should just at least maybe walk over and be like, wow, I don't know. I don't want to sound like, because I'm a Rams fan, like what he did was okay. Too late. No, I just wanted to let you know that when people do get hammered, and you mentioned it, that they do make bad decisions, and maybe that's what that was. I think an even worse decision would have been not to do anything at all right now. So I think paying for what happened to the young lady is a very wise thing to do. Not to walk away from it, but Buyer, you want to get in here? Go ahead. Yeah, I think it was the only thing that he can do. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it makes up for it, and that's the whole point of it. Is there is nothing that Matthew Stafford can do that will turn around and change what happened yesterday in his reaction. I agree with you. It is not, starting a foundation to help people who have back injuries or who suffer. No, I'm like of like stuff that you would do to be like, hey, I'm trying to show that I've learned from my mistakes. There is nothing that you can do to change that, and that's what is. I mean, that show is spot on. Now, some of the scenarios that they have in the show, are a little unique or a little, I don't know, outlandish, but. I mean, this was a situation where in the moment you are, and cameras happen to be rolling. Yes, and that stage wasn't low either. Honestly, you know what I think happened? In the moment, he probably thought the last thing I want to do is be like people think I pushed somebody, right? Like that's probably what comes to mind. But again, that is like what. Whereas in the moment, what he should have thought is she okay? Right? Yeah. Right? She okay? Are you okay? We're not asking a lot here. We're not. Like, just are you okay? Even if you didn't get off the stage to help her, are you okay? I think is a very human thing to ask and to. It is weird though to me that on the day that you, I mean, think about all the scenarios in your life where like at your wedding, let's say, or at the baptism or something for your family, and like something like that happens. Like that was his day. They were all having a good time, and that particular thing happens, and this happens to him. It's like the worst possible thing that could happen to you, on that particular day. Like, it's the last thing you would think of, like some woman falls off a stage. You know what I mean? It's like, it just seems like it's like, oh man, of all days for that to happen, it was that moment when you were having a good time, your team won the championship, and you were in this high, like, excited mode. And then that happens and shows this side of you that's like, oh, man.
Isn't that what it is all about, though?
Yes. I think Dan and I we're listening to John what you're saying, and we're going like, yeah, even it makes it even more important to be a human being in that moment, and to automatically you don't have to start performing CPR
right,
and get a backboard and start dictating orders to people so that everybody does the right thing. But the
compassion.
My name's Bennett and I ain't in it.
Yeah.
I think we all agree that was, and especially at that moment when it's all about you is when you should show yourself selflessness.
I will say this, that we have also learned a lot about Kelly Stafford over the past year for a variety of different reasons of her, whether her interaction with fans, whether, we've played her sound bites here. Her actions changed my opinion about her in a good way. Just to have her walk towards the stage, go, oh my gosh, are you okay? Are you okay? And just of all the stuff that we laugh at or we play the sound bites, like just that moment changed my opinion of what I thought about Kelly Stafford in a good way.
It's Doug Gottlieb Show here on Fox Sports Radio. I agree with you. Although it should be pointed out that Kelly didn't jump to it. She looked at Matthew's reaction, and there was a beat or two there which she's like, you're not going to help her? Like, somebody's got to help her.
The stage was like 6 feet high, and that's the other thing. It's not like you can just jump off there or there's a stair. Like, I think that they're like, in the aspect
have you seen the video of the guy walking through the warehouse where he's looking at his phone and he falls down through a hole in the warehouse and then he lands on like some boxes above it, but it could have been a complete disaster. Have you seen that?
I have not.
I think so, yeah.
I'll send it to you guys, like a viral video. The falling thing, right? Like that's a nightmare for any person. That's the nightmare that you actually have. And people actually have, you get that, you're falling in your dream thing, right? Sometimes you do it when you're daydreaming. To actually do it, to actually fall while you're taking a picture, that's terrifying.